some more of my baseball predictions and reviews and previews. So I wanted to get into the National League Central. The Central, as if you are a fan of baseball, you'll know that consists of the Chicago Cubs, the St. Louis Cardinals, the Pittsburgh Pirates, the Milwaukee Brewers, and the St. Louis Cardinals. Again, I'm going to try to keep this prediction preview kind of short and condensed. I want to try to keep everything shorter. So I'm going to go through, I'll give you who I think, from last to top, and some reasons on why. Now, the team I think is going to finish fifth in the Central. I think it's going to be Milwaukee. I think Milwaukee is going to finish dead last. They don't have a great team. I think they will probably be competing for that top draft pick in the MLB draft. I just don't see them going anywhere. Braun is older. He's not what he used to be. He's no longer an MVP candidate. They don't really have great pitching. They don't really have a bullpen. I don't know. The Brewers are just, I think, probably could be one of the worst teams in Major League Baseball in 2016. So moving on from there, we're going to go to my fourth place team. I think will be probably Cincinnati. Cincinnati, again, is another older team. It's a team that's older. It's a team that strikes out a lot. It's a team that doesn't have the best pitching. They don't have that great of a bullpen, especially now that they traded Chapman to the Yankees. They have some bats, but nothing major. I really think this year they should look to trade, try to get some prospects back, maybe allow Billy Hamilton to just do what he wants to do on the base paths. Maybe they can get some attention and attraction with that young speedster just stealing bases. Maybe he can contend to maybe steal 80 or 90 bases in a year, which no one's done in a while. So I think that's really should be their focus. They're not going to contend for anything. And that's my take on the fourth, fifth spot of the Central. Moving into third and higher, and teams that might be in the playoff hunt with the wild card or the second wild card spot. Third place for the Central, I'm going with Pittsburgh, and I think they could definitely contend for the wild card or the second wild card again. Why I'm going with them is one, I know they have McCutchen, who's one of the best players in the league. Starlin Marte could be, a great player as well. So can I forgot the second baseman's name. Anyway. But their pitching is okay. It's not great. They got Garrett Cole, who's great, but after that, I know they have some rookies coming, some prospects, but again, they're prospects. So we'll see what happens there. Last year they had up in the upper 90s in wins, so I don't see that really drop. That'll drop off a little bit, but I still see them being in contention, especially with my second place team, which is the St. Louis Cardinals. Pittsburgh can flip-flop with St. Louis. St. Louis might have a huge drop-off because they have lost some big pieces. Adam Wainwright's coming off an injury again. They're getting a little older, too, with Molina and Holiday. So you don't know where they're going to fall, but I never can count St. Louis out because of their track record and what they've done. Every time you think they're going to be out, somehow they're in the playoff picture, or they go to the championship series, or they win the World Series. So St. Louis is one of those teams that you can't count out until you see a track record of them not making it and falling off. But, Wainwright is coming back from an injury. Can he do it? He's done it before, and he is Adam Wainwright. When he's on, he's one of the best in the business. So, they lost Hayward. They lost Lackey. They have Holidays getting a little older. Molina is older. So, you got to wonder, is this stuff going to start catching up to them a little bit? And will that bring them back? So, I'm going to say they're going to finish second. They might be, that top wild card spot. But they could also, I could see them flip-flopping with with Pittsburgh again. And maybe they face each other in the wild card. So, I could definitely see some flip-flop in there. But I think they'll edge it out and come in second in the division. Really, my first pick, obviously, is the Chicago Cubs. I really think this is the Chicago Cubs division to lose this year in 2016. They're coming off a great and not so great season in 2015. They had a great season. They made it to the National League Championship Series in the playoffs, but then it stops there because then they were handed a complete dominated sweep by the New York Mets. The Chicago Cubs looked like they didn't show up, looked like they didn't know what they were doing. They just looked like an utter collapse of a team in that championship series where everybody thought it was going to be a very competitive series. It turned out to be a easy sweep for the Mets. Never looked like a series at all at any point. So I think the Cubs have The young guys now have experience in the playoffs. They've been there. They know what to expect. So I don't think that could be an excuse where, oh, they were young. Last year, yes. This year, no. I think now they have the experience, the young guys. I think also they're going to have a big, huge chip on their shoulder that they're going to want to get off because they were embarrassed in that championship series. Embarrassed. They never were in that series. Ever. The Chicago Cubs, and I'm a Yankee fan. I am not a biased Mets fan, but I thought the Mets had no chance. I went with Chicago. I was going with them in 6 or 7. I can't remember what I said. They utterly fell apart, and they did not even look like they belonged there with the Mets. So I think this is the Chicago's year and the Chicago's division to lose. Chicago added Jason Hayward. Great pickup for them. The contract's a little ridiculous, but it is a good pickup for them. They picked up John Lackey, a great starter to have behind Arrieta and behind some of those other young pitchers they have. They have, who's the other guy? Oh, Zobrist. Ben Zobrist, who everybody wanted. The Mets wanted. The Nationals wanted. This one wanted. That one wanted. He went to the Cubs. He is a great player, a great contact hitter. He can get on base. He can hit home runs. He can play all over the place. He is a great player, and I think with those additions, along with Chris Bryant, along with Schwarber, along with they got Lester also. I've forgotten the short rotation. Along with who's the other guy? The big key is going to be Arrieta. Can Jake Arrieta do what he did last year? Does he have to do exactly that? No, because that was pretty phenomenal. But Jake Arrieta has to at least do almost what he did last year. No one's saying he has to do that to be better. If he's that or better, I mean, that division, game over. With Lester and then Lackey, game over. Because a lot of their criticism was after Arrieta and after Lester, who they're starting from. Now they added Lackey, who's a good veteran guy, who could definitely fill innings, definitely get them a couple wins in that 3rd, 4th spot. So I think this is the Chicago Cubs division to lose. I am rooting for them. Of course, if they face my Yankees, of course I'm not going to root for the Chicago Cubs, but I am rooting for them because I do feel really bad for their fan base, for them as players in general, and I do like Joe Madden, and Theo is a great GM. I'm not a big Gio fan, considering he was in the Boston rivalry with the Yankees, but he is a really good GM. He's put together a really good team. This is a good, young, talented team. I see them doing big things in 2016. Maybe this is the year they get over that hump, they get to the World Series, and maybe they could put it away. Again, I will save my predictions for the playoffs and World Series for once I do my reviews. But as you can tell by the way I'm talking, this is a team that's going to contend. And this team looks good. And I think they're going to have a huge chip on their shoulder, and that is the worst thing to have for every other team facing them. Because they are going to have something to prove. And they're young, they're hungry, and they want it. They want it. Look at what Kansas City did. The Chicago Cubs are going to be, I think, the team to beat in the National League. So that's my wrap on the National League Central predictions and review. So, it is what it is. It's my opinion. If you guys want to share your stuff with me, please do. I'd love to hear from you.